creating. He is so knowledgeable in music theory, I think he knows everything. But he's also the director of music at Fort Benning, which is really interesting because he gets to schedule all of the music for the soldiers. Johnny and I have written songs together, we've recorded songs. He's helped me design cover art, he's shown me how to edit, and he's also shown me what it means to be a good producer. In total, I have 97 hours, and 28 of those hours are mentor hours, and 69 are individual hours. And so this process has been so interesting because I have learned what it means to have this incorporated into your everyday life. And so this process has been so fun because I got to learn how to incorporate it into my life. And so these hours may seem like a lot, but it was so much fun for me. The goals that I had in phase 1 were to write every week and record every week, which was really difficult because this is something I've never done before. And so this process of the repetition and the perseverance that I had to get through it were really difficult at times. And I also had to design 3 samples of cover art, which I did, and I also had to submit 1 song, which was really terrible, but I made it better in the end. The goals that I had in phase 2 were to finalize my album cover, which you'll see a little later, and I also had to record a lot. I think there were maybe 5 days over Christmas break that I spent 6 to 8 hours recording every single day, and it was overwhelming at times, but I loved it. I also had to learn to mix and master, which was really interesting because it's something I'd never done before. And in music production, it's pretty much a man's world, and so learning to do it and being a woman has been so fun for me, just defying the odds. And also I had to showcase my work in an accredited venue, and I did that at my church on March the 3rd. The writing process has been so fun. There have been parts that I felt like I've been stuck. There have been parts that have been super challenging. But I've also learned how to get through it. I've learned that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and if I persevere, I will get the result that I want. Oh, and this is my journal. And on the inside, you might open it and you might say, where am I? Because I open it sometimes and I think, where am I? But it's been a really incredible tool to help me through this process. These are the tools that I use to record. So this right here is a connector that I use to mainly record piano parts. So I take this end right here and plug it into my iPad, and with the other end I plug it into the piano. And with this one, this is called a 1-channel interface, and what you do with it is it only records 1 track at a time. And so you can plug in your vocal or the guitar or the piano, and it will record just how you want it to be. This right here is another connector that I use to do the microphone and the guitar. So that was really interesting. And this one and this pop filter right here, this microphone, I use that mainly in phase 1. But it was not a very good microphone, but my parents were really generous to get me this really nice SM57 microphone, which is there. I've learned a lot about editing. And with editing, 2 main things I've learned about are compression and the buses and auxiliary sends. What compression does is it takes the highest dynamic sound in a song and the lowest dynamic song, and it kind of equalizes it. So if you're listening to the radio and a song comes on and you're like, whoa, that's too loud, it's probably because there wasn't enough compression that was used. And also I learned the buses and auxiliary sends. And those are mainly how the sound travels, which it was really cool because you can add different filters and different types of things to make it sound different. I used 2 programs with this project, GarageBand and Logic. And so GarageBand was the program that, you can see it right here, pulled up on my iPad, but it was the one that I used mainly for the duration of the project. so I recorded every single track on there, and I did most of the editing in Logic on my mentor's laptop. This is my album cover, and when I took this picture, I didn't know that the water that I'm standing in was part of the land that my family has grown up on and lived on for 100 years. And so I knew that this picture was the perfect one for my album cover because it had been lining up with everything that I had in mind for the songs and for the title, Home. And so these two over here are some samples that I did in the beginning, but those didn't turn out the way I wanted them to be. But I worked on this one for a long time, and I got this result. This is the first recording I ever made. And you're going to hear it, and you're going to think, wow, but it's going to be, there might be a little white noise in the background because I didn't use a microphone, and so I just recorded it straight from my iPad. And the song is called Awakening, and I wrote it one morning while the sun was rising, and I was in my car, and I was like, whoa, I love those lyrics. I'm going to jot them down as soon as I stop my car. And so I remembered them, and this is what came out of it.
Night surrenders to morning, mercy wash over me as I sit in the sun with the one who's spoken to me. I awake to the unfailing sea, looking on his radiant face. He is walking with me as I live the day, the light along the way.
So as you can tell, my piano is pulled up on here, and this was the first time I had ever used GarageBand too. And so this is not the right setting that you're supposed to be using in GarageBand when you record. So I've progressed so far along. This next song that you're going to hear is the same song, but it's the final mastered version of the song. My mentor is actually playing on this one, and this one right here I was playing and singing at the same time, and none of the tracks that I finished were me playing and singing at the same time. So this is Awakening.
As night surrenders to morning, mercy wash over me as I sit in the sun with the one who's spoken to me. I am.
So as you can tell, that one is a little more edited, it's a little more clean sounding, it's more direct, more perfect than the other one. This next song you're going to hear is called Come, and I wrote this song maybe about 2 years ago, and it was really interesting to record because I had worked so long and so hard on it, and I knew exactly how I wanted it to sound in my head, but I couldn't get it to be how I wanted it to be. And so I recorded this song maybe 3 or 4 times, and the first 2 times I was like, no. So this is Come.
Arms are open wide, you'll never, ever leave my side. I have every reason to trust you, because you're always enough. Lord, I come, Lord, I come. You're the all-consuming, heart-pursuing King.
that the most important thing is that you have to make a decision. And you sometimes have to make that decision really quickly. And so I've learned that it's really important to make the best decision you can as quickly as you can, and trust that the outcome will be how you want it to be. My mentor once said, make a decision and then make that decision right. And so I've had to learn how to make that decision be the right one for me. Thank you so much for giving me your time today